The first question is actually, what is your impression about Lithuania so far?
Well, I arrived last night and it was dark, so today is the only time I've had the chance to see, and certainly where we are is, you know, I was just looking there, it's architecturally quite interesting, isn't it? You know, it seems a very green city that we're in. I don't know how this compares to other areas, but you know, I'm curious to see what the reaction is from the public, because I understand it's not a big country, but clearly bringing a Grand Prix car here is something, you know, which I think is quite interesting, and hopefully the public, you know, enjoy to see the car demonstration.
Do you have any chance afterwards to see Vilnius, or are you flying out tonight?
Yeah, I'll leave. Well, actually, I leave on Thursday morning because I'm going to England to race in DTM, so I won't really have a chance to look around. But you know, next time, you know, it's not so difficult to get here, is it? So maybe next time I have the chance to look around.
We all heard about your plans today,
yeah.
if everything works out and the weather is good.
Yeah.
But as we all know, either new cars sometimes aimed at, they are very fast, but they are sometimes unreliable. What happens if the car doesn't go that good, or if the weather is not fine?
Yeah, the weather is the biggest concern. The car we've used many times, different events, and of course it's a Formula 1 car, so it's not designed for doing hours and hours of demonstration. You have to do a short demonstration, cool the car, and then start again, because it is a Formula 1 car. So I'm more concerned about if it rains and it spoils a little bit the demonstration, because you don't have the speed, you can't do the donuts with the smoke and all of the things which are quite interesting for the younger generation.
Let's come back to your career in F1, maybe to even before that. A lot of racers do not make it to the Formula 1. What were you planning to do in that case if you do not make it to the Formula 1?
Well, the family business is transport, so if I didn't make it as a racing driver, then I would work in the family transport business. You know, my great-grandfather started the business, then my father, now my brother. So they've all had happy lives, so that would have been fine.
Okay. You entered Formula 1 in quite awkward circumstances in 1994 after Ayrton Senna's death. Did it feel awkward to you to enter that way, or did you?
For sure, it was very shocking, because you know, the weekend in Imola in '94 there was 2 drivers killed. You had Ayrton Senna killed, and you had Roland Ratzenberger killed. So that was, you know, a big reality check of just how dangerous the sport can be. But I was young. And when you're young, you don't think that you're going to die. You think, we go. And I was given my opportunity, and it was given the support of Ayrton's family and his management. And I could not replace him. He was an incredible driver, but I just took my opportunity and tried to do the best I could.
The questions we have today are crowdsourced from our users, actually, most of them, and they were actually probably the most popular question was about the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. You're no longer a McLaren driver, and we all know the official explanation of this. Do you have anything to add about this accident?
No, it was just as was explained. You know, the team told me Michael was coming up. There had already been a big crash at the start, so I was in the spare car. And I tried to allow him to overtake, but Michael made a mistake. It's as simple as that. He thinks I'm to blame, but the reality is he ran into me. I did not reverse into him. And even today, he will, if I say, come on, Michael, it was your fault, he'll go, no, it was your fault. So what do I care? You know, I wasn't winning the race, and it helped Mika win the championship. So honestly, it doesn't change anything for me, but he thinks it was my fault.
You still talk sometimes with him, probably?
Sure, I interviewed him at the weekend in Belgium for BBC.
Yeah.
Long interview. Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with any of others who are already retired and you do not reach them via BBC, like Mika Hakkinen?
Yeah, I see Mika in Monaco, and we do different events for Mercedes-Benz together, because we were teammates for 7 years, so it's a long time to be teammates. So we still do events together. He's in Monaco, his children are there, you know, my family are there, so yeah, we spend time together.
Right. You experienced lots of crashes during your career. As any other driver, And did it feel like, did you experience any difficulties afterwards, like after any crash?
No, not in a racing car. I had a plane crash in 2000, which was more difficult because, you know, the pilots were killed. It was the Tuesday before a Grand Prix. I broke some ribs, and you know, it was a horrible. You know, for me, I was very lucky, but for the family of the pilots, it was horrible. And, but that's life.
You won the race, as far as I remember.
No, I finished second, but Mika won the race. But yeah, that was pretty tough.
When did you actually realize it's time to say goodbye to the racing career in Formula One? Was it the same year you retired?
Yeah.
Have you planned it?
Yeah, no, obviously I was thinking at what point it will come to an end, because you have to plan for the future. But the Canadian Grand Prix weekend in 2008, then I really thought, you know, my journey was coming to an end. It was funny because that weekend, that Sunday, I finished third. So it was the time I made the decision. It was also my last best result, if you like, in Formula One.
Okay. There's a funny story going around that one time when it was raining, you came back to the pits without any shoes, just on the socks, and said the shoes are mine and the socks are team.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, in Silverstone I had a problem with the engine and I had to stop. So I had to get out of the car, and it was completely covered in water, so I took off my boots and carried the boots, because, you know, for me, the boots were very important to be comfortable, and they weren't just like putting on any shoes. You know, they were. I tended to wear the same pair of boots for more than one season. You know, I really had to be comfortable.
Question about the Eau Rouge corner.
Yeah.
Everyone is like crazy about it. All the drivers are talking and so on. Is it really that special? Is it the best corner in the calendar?
Yeah, it is, because you go through at 170 miles an hour, down, left, right, left. It is special, yeah, no question. It's unique in Formula One. It's incredible.
You are famous and quite an interesting person, and there are
quite interesting.
Quite interesting, yeah. And there are like lots of love stories in between, and the plane crash too.
Sure.
And or like visitors and readers think that there will be someday when Hollywood or maybe Bollywood will make a movie about you. Who do you see acting like the main role as you?
I've got no idea. I never thought about that. But no, the stereotypical racing driver is, you know, it's, you know, fast cars, fast women, boats, planes, all that. So all of those things you can tick. But today, you know, I'm not a Grand Prix driver anymore. I live a normal life, and you know, it's more simple.
What is the nicest chap in the paddock? Like nicest person you met during your career? Maybe not a driver, but who you get along the best with.
I have a good relationship with a number of people in the paddock, but I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know who the paddock is. It's not somewhere where you really spend a lot of time with people. You know, it's short conversations, so it's 15, 20 minutes, move on. So I couldn't really answer that. The most incredible and interesting person is Bernie, because he made a huge success out of Formula One.
Michael Schumacher is back this year. Vilnius is planning to be back next year, and you're racing now DTM. Maybe it's some secret plan to prepare yourself for the comeback. No. I loved my time in Formula One, but I think you have to acknowledge there's a time, and you know, there's a time to be a teenager, but that comes to an end. There's a time to be a young adult, that comes to an end. There's a time to be, you know, there's different phases in life, and you cannot hold the clock. You know, you have to just live. And for me, I have a different life today. It's still surrounding Formula One, but it's a different life. So you think that Schumacher made a mistake coming back, maybe?
No, if it's the right decision for him, then why not?
So it depends.
For sure, yeah, exactly. But for sure, he will not achieve the same level of success he did the first time, because it was an incredible success. But he's not going to achieve that. He's not going to win 7 world championships. He's not going to win, 90 Grand Prix again. You know, he might win 1 or 2 more, he might win a championship, but it's not going to be the same as the first time.
And there was a talk this year about Kimi Raikkonen replacing Mark Webber in Red Bull, and there were like, you have raised both of them in the same team. How do you compare with them? What are their strengths?
Well, Kimi's biggest strength is his natural ability to drive fast. That's it. Mark's strength is he's fast, he's committed, he's a team player, he's fit, he's focused. You know, for me, Mark has many more strengths than Kimi. But Kimi's one strength is a very important strength because he's fast. But I don't think he's as hard-working, I don't think he's as fit, I don't think he's as big a team player, in my view. It's not, you know, Kimi is I think, a very straightforward individual. What you see is what you get, you know, which is a quality. You know, some people you don't know exactly what you're getting because, you know, they do one thing and they say one thing and they do another thing, but I think Kimi is very straightforward in that respect. Both of them would be good assets to your team, but they're very different.
The last question from me is, what do you think about the current state of the drivers? People are talking that Alonso, Button, Hamilton, Webber, Vettel, there are like 5 drivers now in the same level and they are all very good. Maybe they are better than ever, like the grid, the current grid.
Yeah, I think the grid is very good. You've got to mention Robert Kubica, you've got to say Felipe Massa, who's won a lot of Grand Prix. Obviously Michael has won championships, you've got Rosberg coming up. I think there's a lot of good talent in Formula One. It's as strong as it ever has been. I think this is a good period for Grand Prix racing.
Thank you.